Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maddie. I run EdTech Classroom, the blog, podcast, and of course YouTube channel. Today is Vlogmas Day 13. Now if you aren't familiar with Vlogmas, it's something that a bunch of YouTubers do where we post a new video every single day in December up until Christmas. So like I said, today is Vlogmas Day 13, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing how to use Google Slides to create a digital choice board. So without further ado, let's get started. By the way, if you are interested in grabbing a free copy of the Google Slides that I create in today's video, I will have that linked for you guys in the description down below for you to check out, and again, grab your own copy for free. So I went to slides.google.com and I opened up a brand new Google Slides file, and you'll see that this is what we're looking at now. So I am going to go ahead and show you guys how to do some prep work to get started creating your Google Slides choice board. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these two text boxes here by pressing the delete button, and then now what I want to do is I personally like to change the slides dimensions. I have a tutorial video on my channel already on how to change Google Slides dimensions, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do that right now. So I'll go up here to the top left hand corner and I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on Page Setup, and then I'm going to click on this drop down menu. I'm going to press Custom, and I'm going to change this to be 11 by 8.5 inches. I personally like to have my Google Slides files be the size of a piece of paper. Just kind of helpful for me, honestly, just when I'm creating, to have a little bit more space and to be able to visually see the slide where the dimensions are a little bit bigger and easier for me to kind of keep track of and manage. So now that I've changed the slides dimensions, which by the way, not a necessary step in creating a choice board, it's just something I personally like to do. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a text box up at the top here with the title of the choice board and some directions for students. So I'm going to go over here to this text box tool, and I'm going to click and drag across to create a text box. I'm going to center it a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and type in choice board. And then I want to change the font. I am going to use this Luckiest Guy font. This is kind of like one of my favorite fonts. And then I'm going to resize. I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Let's say maybe size 60. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And maybe I might even add in winter, since we are creating a winter choice board in today's video. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm actually not going to center align this. I'll show you guys why in a little bit. I'm going to put this kind of off to the left. Like I said, I think that looks pretty good. I did say that I want to add some directions here, so I am going to go ahead and grab another text box to put that underneath, and I'm going to type in some directions. Choose one of the 4 options below to do during class today. Now, you do have the option, obviously, to edit these directions. I will have this slides file linked in the episode description down below. At the end, you decide you like this file and you want to go ahead and use it with your students. It will be editable, so you can play around with this text if you want to change the directions, or if you want to change this text up at the top that says Winter Choice Board. So again, it says choose one of the 4 options below to do during class today. Maybe you'll say to do for homework. It's kind of up to you. I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm also going to change the font. I'm going to go ahead and choose this Lifesavers font because I personally like that font. I think it looks nice with that Luckiest Guy that I have as the heading. And okay, that looks pretty good so far. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to create those 4 options for students to choose from. I personally like to use the Shapes tool to do this, to kind of make this choice board a little more visually interesting for students. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to grab the Shape tool, and I'm going to choose for this, I think I'm going to choose maybe this curvy rectangle for today's choice board. So to create the shape, I will just click and drag to create it, and I think that looks pretty good. It seems like a pretty good size. We can play around with it a little bit more later. So now to change the color of this curvy rectangle, I'm going to go up here to the paint bucket tool, and I'm going to change the fill color. So there's lots of shades obviously here, but you can also play around with choosing a custom color if you don't like any of the options that Google has created for you. I personally don't mind them too much. I know some teachers prefer pastel colors, some prefer more like neon and bright colors, but I'm going to go ahead and just choose some of these blue options that we already have available for us. So I'm going to click on this light blue 3 here as my first choice. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that border. So if you guys see this border here is kind of this gray color, I'm just going to go ahead and remove it by clicking on border color and pressing transparent to get rid of it completely. Now I like to do this kind of fun trick where I actually make these look kind of like 3D almost. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. I'm going to duplicate this curvy rectangle by pressing copy. I did Command C on my keyboard because I'm a Mac user. And then I will paste it by pressing Command V. You could do Control C, Control V, depending on what type of device you're on. Now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the border color tool and I'm going to choose black. Then I'm going to change the border weight to be 3 pixels. And now I'm going to make the color transparent. So now if I move this around and kind of find a spot where I like it, you'll see that I'm able to make this almost look a little bit 3D. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna move this down a little bit more and maybe to the side a little more. All right, awesome. So I really like the way this looks. It's kind of like 3D for students to play around with. Now what I want to do is I actually want to make a copy of this. So I'm going to highlight both of these rectangles and I'm going to do something called grouping. To group shapes in Google Slides, it's super simple, and I'll show you why it's helpful in just a second. I'm going to press Control-click on my keyboard. That's the same thing as right-click, depending on what kind of device you're on, and I'm going to go down here to where it says Group, and I will press the Group button. Now when I press Group, I can actually move this around, and these shapes will move together. So that's really helpful for me when I'm going to be playing around with. I kind of want this to be function as one shape. So now I will copy this, and I will paste it. And I'm going to put it over here. Now I like these, but something I'm noticing is that there's kind of still like a lot of white space off to the side. So I'm actually going to highlight both of these shapes and I'm going to change the width of them to be a little bit wider. They both were able to move simultaneously because I pressed Shift and clicked on the other one to make them kind of the same. And then I will center align them to where this red line appears. And then when I release, you'll see that now they are center aligned, and I think that looks a lot better. So now I'm going to duplicate both of these. So I highlighted both of them. I'll press Command C, Command V to paste, and I will move this one to the bottom row here, and I'll move it up just a tiny bit. And all right, awesome. That looks pretty good. One thing I do personally like to do when creating choice boards is I actually like to change the colors of each of the curvy rectangles just so that each choice has a different shade of blue in this winter example. So to change the color, you'll want to click on that shape. Now because these are grouped, you're actually going to want to click twice on that curvy rectangle to change the color so that just that one shape changes colors. So I'll go up here to the paint bucket tool. And I'm going to change that to be a darker shade of that same light blue. I'll do the same thing. I'll click twice on the colorful rectangle, and then I will choose the third shade. And then lastly, I will do the same thing for this fourth one, and I will choose the fourth shade. All right, there we go. So now we have this choice board that has 4 different shades of blue. And I personally really like the way that this looks. Now next we're going to actually add in the choices to this choice board. So for the purpose of today's video, I'm actually just going to write choice number 1, choice number 2, choice number 3, and choice number 4. But you as the teacher can be more explicit with your directions. So I'll go up here to this text box and I will go ahead and add a text box and I'll type in choice number 1. And I'm going to make it that same Luckiest Guy font and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's say 18. I will put it in the top left corner here. Now I will copy it, I will paste it, and I will put it here as well. So we have choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. I'm actually going to align these to make sure they're all kind of in the same spot. choice 3, and then lastly we will have our choice 4. So now you'll see we have our winter choice board with 4 different choices, 4 different categories for students to choose from. The last thing I want to show you guys is how to add either winter clip art or your winter Bitmoji. I'm going to add my Bitmoji for today's video, but in case you want to search for clip art within Google Slides, I will show you how to do that just really quickly here. So I'll go up to the Insert tab, and I'll click on Insert, and I will go down to where it says Image, and I will search the web. Now, if you have clip art or images saved on your computer, you can upload those here. I'm going to go ahead and use this Search the Web feature, and I could say snowflake clip art. And you'll see there's actually some snowflakes here, like this one, kind of nice. I'll press Insert, and it's been added, so I can just resize it. Maybe I want to put it kind of like in the center here as these different choices for students. All right, now I'm going to show you guys how to add your Bitmoji. Now, I personally have the Bitmoji Chrome extension set up on my computer. If you don't have that, it's super simple to get. You just need to Google Bitmoji Chrome extension and download it, and then you'll have it there for you. If you aren't familiar with a Bitmoji, it is essentially just a way that you can add a cartoon version of yourself to pretty much anything. People use it over text message, people add it to slides presentations with students. There's lots of choices or reasons why you might want to use your Bitmoji. But I'm going to go up to my Chrome extension bar, and I'm going to click on Bitmoji for it to load. And then I'm going to type in winter into this search bar to try to find some winter choices. You'll see that there's some Christmas themes, there's some Hanukkah ones, there's just general winter choices. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose this snowball one. I think it's kind of fun, and I'll just drag and drop and release to add my Bitmoji. So now I'm going to add my Bitmoji up here to this top left corner. Again, I'll resize. And I can kind of move it around until it looks good. I actually think I want it to be maybe a little bigger. I think it's okay if it kind of blocks up the text a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. So that's how you can create a winter choice board really quickly in Google Slides to share with your students. Thank you so much for watching today's video all about how to create a choice board in Google Slides. If you liked this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I post weekly tech tutorials for teachers, and during Vlogmas, I'm posting a new video every single day in December up until Christmas, so I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye, friends.